Alright, in this example we're going to show you an example of an indexed array. So first we're going to open our basic.php, we're going to do a save as, and we're going to go ahead and save it as indexed. Actually, it'd be easiest if we name it array underscore indexed into our dev folder. And let's go ahead and declare the array. Actually, I'll go ahead and give it a title name too. We'll call it indexed array. Alright, now let's go ahead and declare the first array that we're going to make. And in our lecture, we sort of gave the example of fruit. So let's make fruit the array. So to declare the array, first we type the variable name, okay, and then we give the assignment operator, which is the equal sign here, and you're going to declare an array by saying array, which is the function name. Okay, so this is sort of the basic syntax of the array. You declare a variable equals, and then you say array, and then you've got your parentheses for the function, and then you have your end of your command. Now, if I just said array, all that would do is create an empty array. Alright, I could do that if I wanted to, and it would automatically realize that, hey, there is an array that exists called fruit. It just happens to have no keys and no values. But we were going to go ahead and add some values. So let's do that. And the values that we want to have are going to be string values as opposed to integers or floats or something, right? So we're going to need to put either single quotes or double quotes. You could do either one, it doesn't matter. So one of the things that I sort of like to do is go ahead and build my syntax. And you can do this however you want, but if you do it this way, you tend to sort of be less likely to make errors about forgetting a quotation mark that ends, or maybe putting that extra comma here at the end, and so forth. Okay, so we're going to do, for the values, apples and oranges and grapes and pears. Okay, and again, notice that there's not a comma here at the end of the array after pears, right? But there is a comma in between each of these other value assignments. Now, also I want you to notice that the comma is outside of the quotation marks, okay? Not inside. This isn't where you're going to be writing a paper in formal English grammar, okay? This is PHP programming, so make sure you keep those commas outside of your quotation marks. Okay, so there's our array, and how do we actually get this thing to print onto screen? Well, there's some different things that I can do, but the most convenient way is to use a function that's called print_r. And the print_r function is going to help you inspect the array. Whenever you use print_r, it's typically going to be for the programmer to inspect an array so that he or she can see, what's really going on with the array. They can see, which keys are assigned to which values and what the order is and so on. And that's really important, especially when you're getting sort of oddball results that you're not expecting. You want to do a print_r and see what's actually being assigned inside of your array. Now this is empty, so we would have to actually pass the argument or the parameter of fruit. Okay, we actually have to tell it what to affect, what to print, and so this is what's going to happen. It's going to print this out on screen in sort of a haphazard way. Let's save this. Let's do a quick test, and we'll refresh this screen, and you see that we have array_indexed.php. And you can see here that it prints out our array. This is what happens whenever you do the print_r command. And what it's showing us is that although we only told it apples, oranges, grapes, and pears, what it's telling us here is that it went ahead and assigned it the it assigned it 0 for the key, for the very first key, the number or the integer 1 for the second key, the integer 2 for the third key, and the integer 3 for the fourth key. So that's very useful, and you have to look at these as pairs. Okay, so 0 is to apples, 1 is to oranges, 2 is to grapes, 3 is to pears. Okay, these things are paired up. No pun intended. Okay, let's jump back over here to Dreamweaver. Oh, actually, real quick, I want to show you this again. Now, this is like not the easiest format to read, especially if we had a much more complex array with a lot more items in it. Oh, and by the way, if I refer to an item, I'm referring to the entire pair. Okay, so I'm referring to both key and value if I refer to an item. Okay, so let's see if there's an easier way for us to do the printr function so we can see the array better. What you can do is you can print you can use printr inside of pre-tags, P-R-E tags. All right, stands for pre-formatted text. It's a normal HTML formatting element, and you could do it one of two ways. You could either go ahead and you could echo, and you could do a string that has a pre-tag in it that starts, sort of does your starting pre-tag, and then down here we can echo the ending pre-tag, just like this. We could save that, and we can jump back up to Firefox, refresh it, and you see this is a lot easier to read. Much, much easier. You can see the items, the paired items, a lot better. Okay? So if you want to inspect your arrays and make sure that you really know what's going on with them, that's the function to use. Let's jump back to Dreamweaver, and as just a reminder, the other way that you can do this, of course, if you didn't want to have these echo tags, is, let's get rid of this, you could go ahead here and end your PHP, and we're going to start the PHP here again, and we will end it. And in between the two things, we could have our pre-tags as normal HTML, right? And we'll do the end pre. And Dreamweaver is very nice and it does auto-completion for us. Okay, so this would work just as well, right, if you wanted to do it this way. And if you want to tidy this up a bit, you could go ahead and make this, oops, all on one line. And let's move this up. And it just starts looking a lot cleaner, okay? And, you know, I really recommend that you try to be really clean with your coding. Alright, so that's the first sort of most common way that you can make an array, but I want to show you another way that you can build an array too. I'm going to comment out this first array that we created so that you can see that it's not really working. In fact, let's go ahead and save it, and then when we test it, you'll see that it throws an error. We refresh and it says undefined variable, right? Saying that fruit is not defined, right? We haven't set it up. So let's go back to Dreamweaver. Let's set that up. Now, you can also make an array kind of on the fly, piece by piece. So let's say that we're going to declare a new array, and this is all you've got to do, really. And just declare it like this, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to specifically assign a key value to it. Okay? So we're saying that we want to make the 0 key of this new fruit array equal, and we're going to say apples. And we go ahead and we assign it right then and there. And by the way, the fact that I'm using single quotes is really irrelevant. I could have used double quotes. It really didn't matter. It's just a habit that I have to use singles unless I need to declare a variable or execute PHP of some sort inside of my quotes. All right, so let's go ahead and save that, and now let's go back to here and test it, refresh, and you can see that my array only has one item in it. Okay, and that item is called apples. Let's go back to Dreamweaver, and let's go ahead and create our other ones. Okay, and in fact, let's just go ahead and do this. I'll copy this, and we'll make our other empty containers, and we'll go 1, 2, 3, and we'll call this oranges, grapes, and pears. Okay, we're going to save that, jump back over here to Firefox, refresh it, and you can see that we have our array back. Okay, just because we made those components separately and we didn't do it in one array function like we did up here, right, where we actually literally used the array function, this is basically doing the same thing. Okay, but it's just doing it in sections. So it takes a little bit more time to write all that stuff out when it's easier to do it this way. And the thing that's really useful, I think, to realize is, let's go ahead, after we've got our printr for the fruit thing down here, let's we're going to go ahead and put that on a separate line, and then we're going to separate out our PHP like so. Okay, and then after we do our print for the fruit array, the other thing that I'm going to go ahead and do, and remember, okay, if you're not sure what the pre-tags are doing, the pre-tags, remember again, I said it stands for pre-formatted text, and what it'll do is it basically will read the white space that you type inside. Normal HTML does not let you, include this white space. It won't read it. It just skips over it until it sees a tag. But this tag, pre-formatted text, will literally read all of your white space. So all of this space right here, it actually will read. Okay, so anyway, let's do an echo for a break. Oops. Okay, so we're just going to put one line break in there. And what I want to do here is I want to just grab a single value out of this array. So what I would do then, if I wanted, let's say I want to grab key number 2, is I would go here and I would type echo fruit and then 2, just like that. And it's going to actually print to screen the word grapes for us. Alright, what this is doing is it's saying, hey, go find key 2 and echo the value for it. So let's save this and jump back up to Firefox, refresh it, and you can see here we've got the word grapes printing to screen. Okay, and that's going to be the end of the demonstration for the indexed array.